Hey guys, this is Reese Trento, the Vanguard team at Manor Realty. Today we have Sean Santoro here, and you're going to be going, why is this guy in a Calgary Flames ice hockey? Very, very professional, Sean. Very professional. No, but
Got to support the team.
there is a point to this, guys. Sean hails from Calgary, but moved to Windsor, Ontario a few years ago. We've gotten to know Sean over the years. One of our agents works with him. And it dawned on me that nobody's really documenting and really talking about on YouTube about this mass migration from largely the GTA, largely Toronto, but also from out west. You have this mass migration of over 1,000 people a month moving to a city of about 300,000 people. So think about it, guys. Every 90 days, our population of our city increases by 1%. Right? That's kind of big. It's kind of fast. And yep. I heard actually that it was 1,800 people in 14 days recently.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know where y'all going. It's going to be Tent City, Fort McMurray around here. There's a good Alberta reference for you, Sean. It's going to be Tent City in trailer parks too. I don't know how else we're going to do it. So guys, please welcome Sean Santoro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, well, we want to get into your story. We want to get and before we do, guys, link and subscribe below. I get into a lot of real estate stuff to do with Windsor, Ontario, and there are direct applications outside of just Windsor to what we're talking about, especially for you income property investors out there. And so link and subscribe below. This will be great for the people considering relocation to Windsor as well today. So, Sean, let's get into your story, man. You know, what you were in Calgary forever, man, and what happened?
So yeah, I'm originally from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and my parents moved to Calgary in 1992. My dad worked for Honeywell, sales guy for Honeywell for years, still is, and my mom is a chiropractor. She's still operating her practice in Calgary. So we moved out to Calgary. I grew up there. I spent 25 years there before moving here to Windsor. I moved here in October 2017, and it has been pretty exciting, pretty glorious since, minus, a couple year little hiccup there where everybody decided to go away and not see other people.
So,
but it's been great.
So guys, what Sean does, he's with Solomon Financial, and I'll put the link to that below. And then he also holds a mortgage brokerage license as well. So if you think about it, guys, it's really handy when you run into those mortgage brokers that are more than mortgage brokers, especially if you're an investor. Because Sean's not just going to go after that mortgage brokerage commission and get that mortgage done and then go get the next mortgage done and go get the next mortgage done, which is it kind of sounds like the residential real estate agent, right? It's eat what you kill. You sell the house. All right. See you guys in maybe 5 to 7 years if I keep in touch with you and I'm off to the next sale, right?
Yeah.
It's different for a guy like Sean. Right. And correct me if I'm wrong here, man, but you're taking a more holistic approach. So basically, because you know the whole picture in many cases with your clients, you can give them better mortgage advice based on the wealth growth and the wealth retention that they're trying to achieve.
Correct. Yeah. So effectively, what we try and look to do is build number one, the solid foundation from the base up, right? Like any house, you need a strong foundation to really go forward with it. Whatever it is that you're trying to do. I'm trying to get one house and I just need a place to live, or I want to build a portfolio. Whatever people's outcomes are, there's a solution for that, but it takes, sometimes multiple steps, right? Everybody's situation is kind of different. And so starting in the insurance world and the financial planning world, I kind of saw it from that side first is, okay, this is what people's situation is. We want to get somewhere, and not all of their goals was I need a house. A lot of it was I want to make sure I have dollars for retirement. I want to get my kids.
Sure. And Sean, I don't want to be rude, but the audience has heard all that before from a lot of people, right?
Exactly. Right.
So what with the brass tacks is why, I guess, first of all, if you've got clients and you move from Calgary to Windsor, you're uprooting yourself. Like, how does that work? Like, I can't, as a real estate agent, if I just left here and I moved to Calgary, I'd have to start all over as far as my customer base again or my client base.
Yeah.
So why make that move, man?
So Primarily, the reason for the move was we were expanding our practice here in Southern Ontario, right?
Sure.
The whole strip from here to Toronto is a pretty large number of people by comparison for the 300 kilometers that we go. If we go all the way to Montreal, it's something like over 50% of the population in Canada lives in
Yeah,
that
it
corridor,
is.
right?
It
So
is. Yeah.
if you think about the amount of people that you can help, which is really ultimately our goal, the more people we can help, the more, solutions that we have for people going up from there. The closer we are to those people, the easier it is. Now, living in Calgary for as long as I did, I had a lot of great relationships, and I've always been very good at communicating with my clients. So it's follow-ups, all those kinds of things. So I just need to do a better job of that being here. But I didn't lose
Okay.
one client. They were all
Okay.
fine.
So, right. So now you're in Windsor.
Correct.
We have all these people moving down here.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these investors investing down here. And let's use a scenario here. Let's use a scenario. Married couple, they're both
Yep.
middle class. They've saved up some shekels. They've saved up some money. And they're looking to invest in Windsor. Why am I not just sending them to a mortgage broker to get their mortgage to buy a duplex and leaving them with their Sun Life representative up in Toronto? Why?
Yeah. So having more kind of avenues for a specific client or family, I can effectively shorten time frames and offer more holistic advice and planning so that I don't need to go say, okay, go talk to your advisor and go get this done. And then go talk and then do this and then do this. Instead, I just say, you need this, 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 and this. And I can do all of those for you. And if they're happy to work together, great. And if they're like, no, I've got a guy, I love working with my guy, perfect. Like, that's okay. But this is what we need to do in order for you to get, the house that you want or the duplex you want or whatever it is.
So, but how does that make them more money long term? Is I guess what I'm getting at, right? Which is kind of your job.
Well, as a broker, right, my job is to ensure that they get, a very solid rate, and it's not always the cheapest rate. That's a big one. Is a lot of people are, they're looking for the absolute cheapest rate. It's a fallacy. It's not always true, right? It's often that the ones with the lowest rates typically have the highest fees.
Yes,
So
right.
it's a trade-off, right? And I find that if we're not well educated and versed in how to move through that process, balls get dropped, things get miscommunicated, and if you're dealing in a hot market and you need to move fast, like game over. There goes your shot at the duplex.
And I suppose when you hold, all those sort of hats, which is more of a financial planner's perspective, and I know that some mortgage companies pay better commissions than others. Is that correct or no?
In
I know
terms of
it's
different
correct with like
lenders,
stocks and bonds and stuff, right? Like,
so some lenders do pay at different rates. A lot of it I find depends based on the term length that you're doing. So like a 3 year
yeah,
is going to pay different than a five.
got it.
Things like that. But there are other lenders that will do promos here and there. They'll be, 10 basis points promo this week kind of deal.
Right. But my point is with those incentives, like, and this is a great example. So with term, right?
Hmm.
It's so funny when you say that because I can remember being pushed into fives.
Hmm.
Now that you say that, that's interesting. So I guess my point is that if a 3 is better for your client than a 5, it's in your best interest because you're in charge of all their wealth, right? As opposed to if you're just a mortgage broker, you're going to push the 5 because you're getting paid more, right?
And that's the thing, right? So it really comes down to what kind of a practice are you running? Are you running a practice to try and make money? Which sure, that's, definitely a consideration as a business owner. Or are you building a practice to have a solid foundation of, clients and really friends that are really trusting you with everything that you're doing on their real estate journey, in the insurance journey, the financial planning in general? Um, it's not about the $2,000 paycheck for me. It's building the full scale plan and helping them all the way through it.
Don't tell everybody what you're making.
Yeah, 2,000 is just one example.
Right, man. Right. Okay. So, as far as this goes, then it gives the opportunity to somebody that is building up a portfolio in Windsor or is moving to Windsor Like, I think of the person moving to Windsor that doesn't know anything yet. They're going to usually rent first because they don't know the neighborhoods yet. They're getting their feet on the ground. And usually after about 6 months, they're feeling very confident. And in the last 6 months of their first year lease, that's when they go out and grab that house. But I would say, you've got some firsthand experience going through that, moving from Calgary, right? Because everybody else we deal with, born and raised in Windsor, which is typical, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, you would offer some different perspective, wouldn't you, from going through the gamut yourself?
Yeah, like we were shopping for months and we would see places on realtor.ca, and I'd call a friend of mine that had already moved here, also named Sean. And we worked
Lots of
together.
Sean's moving to Windsor,
Lot,
guys. Mark it down. You heard it here
we
first.
we had a little coined phrase. We were called the Shantourage. There was
No,
actually three of us. We were
no,
all
I'm gonna edit that out. We're
no,
not
that
gonna.
has to
No,
stick.
no, no.
Why? Why? Everybody loves it.
It's like
It's a
you're
thing,
throwing
right?
dad jokes onto my interview, man. No,
I'm a
no,
dad. What can I do? Anyways, so
man.
there was three of us, three Seans. We were all working together, and
Seantastic. Sorry.
see?
I'm just, yeah,
Anyways,
it's contagious. It's
I
like the
would
plague.
totally. I would call Sean. I'd be like, "Hey, man, there's a place on Homedale. I want you to go take a look at."
Sure.
Kate, sounds good. Uh, Call me back 20 minutes later. Hey, it's sold. And this
Oh,
happened
yeah.
over and over and over. Like before you could
Yeah.
even go and take an eye at it and say, yeah, you know what, you guys might like this house. Um, Gone just like that. And so that was 2017, spring, summer. And it wasn't until the fall that it just like literally fell into our laps. We were here visiting Sean, um, checking out the city. Brianne and I are going around and we're, looking at places, figuring out
Well,
community.
how long did it take you until you felt confident enough to go and buy that house?
I was prepared to move to Windsor at the end of 2016. It
Okay.
took us a while before we were able to find something that made sense. We've got two girls, we have a dog, so an apartment's not going to do it really for us. I mean,
No.
could we make it work? Sure.
Yeah.
And I was prepared to do that. Like, if that's what we got to do, boots on the ground so that we can move fast when we're here, sure,
Yeah,
that's what
go
we got to do,
European for a year, man.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but if we can get a house, that's obviously the most desirable option. So we're here, we're visiting Sean, we're sitting in his backyard, and I hear him start talking to the neighbor over the fence, and he starts talking about how they're moving their mom into hospice care.
Oh,
Um,
man. Perfect.
who, in the circumstances is unfortunate, but at the same time, my ear kind of perks up, and I'm like, Sean, like
Yeah.
respectfully, ask them what their plan with the house is. And that's how we made it happen. So I still live next door to my friend Sean, right there. So we got a cutout out of the fence, and we hang out, we barbecue all the time, and so it worked out perfectly well. And I really really like living downtown Windsor. Your proximity to Detroit is unparalleled. As a person who's a Flames fan, you'd leave the Saddle Dome, it would take you 10, 15 minutes just to get onto the C train and then ride it for 45 minutes down to where I lived. Here, in the first like week and a half we were here, we went to a Red Wings game, left the arena, through the tunnel, through customs, at my front door, like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
It's insane.
unparalleled.
Yeah, it's insane. People outside of Windsor have no concept. You want to screw with the minds of people from Toronto. One of my favorite things to do is say which Canadians have access to more amenities by far than any other Canadians. And it's so funny. They fall for the trick every time. Because, oh, it's Toronto, right? We're the center of the universe. And it's like they don't even pause to think. It's Reese the trickster talking right now. That it can't be Toronto because Reese is asking the question. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even dawn on them because they're the center of the universe, right?
Yep.
No disrespect to the Toronto people watching, but I'm not lying. And
Yep.
it throws them off when you say it's Windsor by a country mile. Oh, what? What? And
Yep.
it's like you don't understand. Like you have the fourth largest art history museum in North America. The stuff in Toronto is 12th, right? You have the second largest theater district outside of New York City, right? You have an amazing food culture, man. You have an amazing arts culture. you have all the top American sports teams, right? Even my glorious 6-2 Detroit Lions as we record this. Not
They're
that we're going to
on
get into that.
fuego.
That's right.
They're killing it.
Yeah, but then you've got 2-star, 1-star, 1.5-star Michelin restaurants, as Sean has pointed out. It's funny you have that story about going from the stadium home in 11 minutes. My story, because I lived just into the east end of Windsor, right across from the Peace Fountain, basically. That was our house before our dream house now.
Yeah.
And my wife and I went to the apparatus room, 1-star Michelin, got the chef's choice, got a bottle of wine, valet, with tip, 150 US, so less than 200 Canadian. And we were home in 14 minutes.
Wow.
And it was just like, you can't do that in Toronto, man. Like, it takes 90. The average commute is the second highest in the world to work. It's over 80 minutes and getting worse. Madrid is like 92 minutes. They're the worst. Like, at the end of the day, time is the greatest currency.
Yep.
Right? And look what we're talking about right now. We're not even talking about money. What are we talking about? Yeah, look how much time I save. Look how fast I can get there. Right? Because time is the greatest currency. So, like, I've got a date night with my wife tomorrow night, and we're going to this happening hot pot Korean restaurant in Detroit. And again,
Nice.
from our house, it'll be less than 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a big burden, and it's going to get faster for us because we got the new international bridge now going in,
Right.
and that's only about 5-6 minutes from our house, so we're going to be over there real fast.
Yeah.
It's great, man. Like, yeah, so you've kind of learned and discovered what we've already known down here, is that you get to live with all the benefits of living in Canada.
Yep.
You get all the benefits of living in a mid-sized city, which are super low crime rates, no traffic jams. You want to get a Windsorite angry? Get him stuck in traffic for 3 minutes. What's this city coming to? You're calling up your wife. This is BS. I'm stuck.
It's because every 90 days
minutes.
our population increases by 1%. All those 1% are building on.
Stuck in traffic for 3 minutes. So, it's awesome that you picked. Did you know you probably didn't know the extent of how awesome that is, that access to amenities is, before you moved here. You can only live here to really know it.
Correct. Yeah. Like, talking with Sean and whatnot, and those stories are great. We definitely haven't tapped into even closely enough that I wanted to in Detroit, but
you never will.
It's the architecture is off the charts. I'm a big architecture guy, and some of the most beautiful buildings are 2 miles that way.
The greatest collection of Art Deco architecture in the world is downtown Detroit. And the only time America had its own architectural style, when they really tried to break from neoclassical styles of what they considered Europe, it was the Guardian building in downtown Detroit, which included the Smith Group, the architects that built it. They're still there. They're the oldest independent architectural firm in America, 159 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
They asked us to join them on an expression of interest project in Windsor a few years ago. So we really got to know them. One of our clients' husbands works there. So that's how that connection happened. Guys, if you don't know, I'm a developer as well. So I'm developing a lot of stuff in downtown Windsor right now with our institutional partners from Toronto. So hopefully they don't see me talking about the center of the universe on here. Yeah, they know how I feel. I tell them
they get it. They get it.
So I love Toronto. I think the travesty is that Torontonians don't know anything about us and all the things you would love about Windsor. It's a travesty. Like, we are the only other food town in Ontario outside of Toronto. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, I literally cried at the soft opening of a traditional Greek restaurant with my wife. I cried because as I'm eating this food that was perfect, my brain went, thank God you could have been born in London and been eating at a Krabby Joe's right now. And I started crying tears of joy. My wife's like, you're an idiot. She called over the owner, who's our real estate client, and explained it. And Tom went, I mean, Reese, I get it, but yeah, the tears, man. The tears of joy and relief that I was born in Windsor with Windsor food, man. Again, people don't get it. unless you're here.
There's tons of stuff here that you wouldn't expect to be here
Oh
on
man.
with this size of city. Like they just did the International Art I don't know what
The mural fest.
murals. Correct. Yeah,
Okay, well,
mural
two of my
fest.
buildings were part of that. Two of my buildings were two
Really?
of the 60. Yeah, yeah.
My buddy Jeff was doing. I've seen him do two so
Oh, Jeff
far. Just in the
Denome. Is
last-
Jeff Denome
Yeah,
your buddy?
Denime. Yeah.
Okay,
So
well, Denime.
he
Yeah,
did.
so there you go. So guys, you just saw a classic Windsor thing. We're
Oh,
the
you
one
know
degree
Jeff?
of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
We're the one
exactly.
degree of Kevin Bacon. Everybody knows everybody, even though it's 330,000 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
By the
And
time
so
you watch this, 332,000 of us.
exactly. Just keeps rising.
Crazy.
But he did a super cool mural on Sweet Revenge Bake Shop.
Yeah, in Little Italy.
Correct. Yeah. Really, really cool. If you guys haven't seen it, go do a quick little drive-by. Very, very cool.
Yeah, he's got his little cartoon bees with the X's for eyes. That's his trademark.
Yeah, so that's Haunted Zoo, I believe, is those all
That's right.
He's got a whole bunch of different ones. Anyways.
What show was he on? Was he on Dragon's Den with the hot sauces? What show? It wasn't Dragon's Den, was it? It was another big
Wayne
one.
Brady. That was Wayne Brady.
The Wayne Brady show. That's right. He got product placement. Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal. That's it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne Brady. Sean, we're at 21 minutes. I knew it was going to go by quickly. You got anything to add before we go?
I mean, if you guys want to shorten time frames and not have to, kind of jumble things as I kind of did and shot from the hip, find yourself a solid team like Reese's team here in real estate to really shorten those time frames so you don't have to wonder which areas the good ones, which ones the the less desirable, where can my kids go to school and all the other activities. They're going to make your life just way, way easier. So reach out to Reese's team.
I appreciate you guys have been awesome. Sean. Guys, I'll put all Sean's contact information below the video, including web links to both his mortgage brokering and, most importantly, SolomonFinancial.ca, which is his financial advisory sort of umbrella. As always, guys, you can link and subscribe below. I've got links to our Facebook investment group. And if you want access to what Sean didn't have when he moved to Windsor, which is access to all of our exclusive listings and pre-MLS listings. And guys, we sell over 50% of our income properties before they ever hit the MLS. You want to be on these lists. You can send us some contact information from our website and we'll add you to those lists. We're not going to send you the paint color of the week, for your, that we don't fall colors and we provide value, guys. We provide value. We'll get you on those lists that pertain to you specifically and help you get wealthier as Sean Santoro can as well. Thanks, guys. And Sean, thanks for coming on, man.
You betcha. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
So take care. Go Flames, go.